Are you a parent who had like a very unique dynamic with your kid, and now as an adult, now that they're adults, you're estranged? It's kind of crazy how you can have such a close bond with a child all the way through and then up until the point when they're adults, and then now all of a sudden they've cut you off and you're estranged. And have you ever stopped to ask yourself, like, well, how is this even possible? I know I fucking have. I'm starting to see that those of us that had unique dynamics with our kids, I'll give you an example. I became pregnant at 17, had her at 18. You can't help but kind of grow along with your kid, and you almost define each other. It's kind of, you develop a little bit of a codependency. Or maybe you weren't a young mom, but maybe you were a single mom or a single dad, or, you know, what have you. Anyway, whatever the circumstances, you created this unique dynamic of just absolute closeness, where this kid is your right hand and you're his or her right hand, and now you guys have kind of fused and blended together. You can't really tell where one ends and the other begins, and vice versa. So like from that standpoint, you can see how your adult child's development can be a little bit stifled as they want to become their own person. They want to do their own thing. They want to develop other sides of themselves that, you know, maybe just haven't been developed. It's a natural thing to want to develop as an adult and move in directions that maybe you previously hadn't in the past. Now they've got people that are influencing them. Maybe they have their own ideas about what they want life to look like. And because you guys have fused together, it's not making it as possible for them to be able to do that for themselves. Did I fucking like 15 months of estrangement? No, I did not. Now in hindsight, can I see the purpose of it? Yeah, I still didn't like it, and what's bringing this idea to me is the conversation I had with my daughter, kind of looking in hindsight what our relationship was, and then listening to this book called Reconnecting with Your Estranged Adult Child, where she talks about the need for separation as your kid develops into an adult. Maybe we're sensitive and we love our kids so much and they don't know how else to disconnect from us. And so they do it abruptly and quickly and rip the Band-Aid off, and then just maybe that's easier for them. This is not necessarily what could be going on with you in your situation. It's just something to think about, because those of us that have been so close with our kids all the way through, we're probably the most baffled of the bunch. Like, what the fuck happened? We were so fucking close. Maybe that's the problem. The problem is that we were too close, and our influence was too heavy for them. I definitely think that in my situation, I know that my opinions would heavily influence my daughter, even if I didn't mean for them to. If I was like, no, I mean, do what you want. I mean, it's not necessarily like, I don't necessarily think it's a great idea, but this is your life. Even me saying that weighed heavily on her and kind of would influence her to possibly move in another direction. So just something to think about. Another thing that I am kind of like looking into and learning.